If you could only bring one item to survive in an emergency situation, what would you choose? For me, the answer would definitely be a homemade water filter. Today, I'm going to introduce a life-saving item that can be your best friend in any situation, whether you're camping, trekking, or facing a survival challenge. With this simple DIY water filter, you can turn dirty water into drinkable water, helping you stay alive when there's no clean water source around. Let's dive in and explore how to create this super useful survival tool together. First, find a plastic bottle. Any size will work, but medium-sized one is ideal for easy handling. Make sure to clean it thoroughly, both inside and out, to remove any dirt residue or odors. In survival situations, starting with clean equipment is crucial because even small contaminants can affect the quality of your filtered water. Think of this bottle as the heart of your water filter. It needs to be as clean as possible to ensure the best results. Once your bottle is clean, carefully cut it in half using a sharp knife or scissors. Take your time with this step to make sure the cut is neat and even. The top half will act as the filter body, while the bottom half will serve as a container to catch the filtered water. This simple cut transforms an ordinary plastic bottle into the foundation of your survival water filter. It's a small step that makes a big difference. Next, I'll grab a soldering iron to carefully create small holes in both the bottle cap and the sides of the bottle. The holes in the cap will allow the filtered water to drip through slowly, while the holes along the bottle's body will help with ventilation and prevent pressure buildup during filtration. Be sure to make the holes just the right size, not too big to keep the filter materials in place and not too small to allow the water to pass through smoothly. This step is like opening tiny gateways that will guide the water on its purification journey. These are the exit holes for the filtered water. You can make 3 to 5 small holes using a soldering iron or a heated metal rod. Imagine a system where water is poured into the top, slowly trickles through multiple layers of filter materials, and clean water gently drips out from the holes in the cap. That's the flow you want to achieve. First, I'll start by placing a layer of cotton at the bottom, right on top of the bottle cap holes. The cotton acts as the final guard. It helps trap the smallest particles that might pass through the upper layers. It also prevents a filter in materials, like sand and charcoal, from falling out through the holes in the cap. Make sure to press the cotton down firmly, but not too tight. You want to hold its shape, while still allowing water to drip through slowly. This soft, simple layer plays a crucial role in giving us cleaner water in the end. As you can see, I've already boiled the charcoal beforehand. This step is really important because boiling the charcoal helps remove impurities, dust, and harmful substances that may still be trapped inside. It also ensures that the charcoal is clean and safe to use for water filtration. By preparing the charcoal carefully like this, we can trust that our DIY water filter will produce safer, cleaner water. I'll now crush the charcoal into smaller pieces so that I can spread it out evenly inside the filter. Breaking the charcoal into fine chunks increases its surface area, which helps absorb impurities and odors more effectively. The smaller the pieces, the better they can trap harmful substances in the water. I'll carefully crush it until it's just the right size, not too powdery, but fine enough to create a dense filtering layer. Before adding the gravel, I'll thoroughly wash the pebbles to remove any dirt, dust, or unwanted particles that might still be clinging to them. This step is essential because using unclean gravel could introduce more impurities into the filter instead of helping to clean the water. I'll rinse them carefully until the water runs clear, making sure they're completely clean and ready to be part of our filtration system. I'll save this rinsing water for later. It will be the perfect test water to try out our homemade filter soon. I'll make sure to use fine, clean sand and spread it evenly to create a smooth, solid layer. Now, I'll add another layer of charcoal on top of the sand. This additional charcoal layer will enhance the filtration process by absorbing odors, chemicals, and any remaining impurities in the water. It creates an extra safety barrier, making sure the water that comes out is as clean and fresh as possible. I'll spread the charcoal evenly to cover the surface completely, strengthening the overall filtering system and getting it ready for action. Next, I'll add another layer of clean sand on top of the charcoal. This top sand layer helps to hold the charcoal in place and provides an initial barrier to catch larger dirt and debris as soon as the water is poured in. It also helps the water flow more evenly through the filter, ensuring it passes smoothly through each layer below. I'll carefully spread the sand to make sure it covers the surface evenly, completing the final structure of our filtration system. Now we're almost ready to test it. And finally, I'll add a top layer of clean gravel. This final layer of gravel serves as a first line of defense, blocking leaves, twigs, and larger debris right from the start. It also helps to evenly distribute the water as it's poured in, preventing the sand layer from being disturbed. By carefully spreading the gravel across the top, I've now completed all the essential layers of the DIY water filter. It's fully built and ready for the test. Now, I'll test the water filter to see how well it works. Here, I have an even dirtier glass of water. This will be a tougher challenge to filter, allowing us to really test how effective it is at handling more heavily contaminated water. The result is impressive. The water that comes out of the filter is noticeably clearer than when it started. Most of the dirt, small debris, and cloudiness have been removed as the water passed slowly through each layer. Although the filtered water might not be perfectly crystal clear, like bottled water, it's clean enough to be a valuable resource in survival situations. The homemade filter has successfully turned dirty, unusable water into much safer and visibly cleaner water. A simple but life-saving tool when you need it most. This simple DIY water filter is a quick and effective survival tool. It may not replace professional filters, but in emergencies, it can provide cleaner, safer water using basic materials. It's a useful skill to know for camping, trekking, or any survival situation. We're going to explore a very familiar kitchen ingredient that has countless surprising uses. It's salt. Have you ever used salt to fix electronic devices? It's all super easy and super cost effective. Are you ready? Grab a jar of salt and let's get started right away. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss out on our next cool tips. Once the salt is roasted, I'm going to grind it down until it's nice and fine. I'm going to use a mortar and pestle to crush it. I'll keep grinding carefully until the texture is really smooth and fine. After grinding, I need to sift the salt one more time to make sure there are no large grains left. I only want to keep the fine powder. After grinding the salt, I will pour it into a fine mesh strainer. I gently shake and lightly tap the sides of the strainer to let the small, fine salt particles fall through, while the larger grains remain on top. This process helps to completely separate the fine powder and remove any salt that hasn't been ground properly, ensuring a smooth and even final product. I will patiently sift until only the perfectly fine salt remains, ready for the next step. Next, I'm going to mix the fine salt with some crushed charcoal to create a powerful cleaning blend. Same as the salt, I'm going to crush the charcoal into a super fine powder. This way, they'll blend perfectly together for the best result. Now it's time to mix the charcoal powder with the salt. I'll stir them together until they're completely combined into a smooth, even mixture. Please watch the video until the end and let me know which method you like most. I look forward to hearing from you. I'll set the mixture aside for now and get ready for the next step. So, my trusty alarm clock's been out of commission. Turns out the battery's completely dead and it's just sitting there collecting dust. This clock isn't working because its battery is dead. Now, I'm going to test it with a new battery. Everything is working normally now. Now, I am going to check their voltage. The voltage is 1.5 volts. This is a normal battery. Now, I am going to measure the voltage of these dead batteries. They have absolutely no voltage. While I could simply replace them with new ones, as someone passionate about battery restoration, I'm going to revive these dead batteries and turn them into new ones. Clock's batteries are usually not designed to be recharged or restored. However, in some cases, you can try a few methods to check or extend the battery's lifespan. First, I need to take apart the components of this battery. Using a pair of pliers, I carefully peel away the outer casing of the battery. This is a first step to uncovering its inner structure, which holds the key to bringing it back to life. It's a bit like performing surgery. Precise, focused, and oddly satisfying. Next up is a positive terminal. This is a small, raised end of the battery that we often see, and it's where the electrical current flows out. Carefully removing this part will give us access to the internal materials that play a crucial role in the battery's function. This is the battery core, the heart of the entire cell. It contains essential chemical components that generate electricity. By accessing this part, we can begin the process of reactivating or restoring the battery's original power. If you look inside this battery, you'll find some black powder. It's actually very similar to the powder I made earlier. And that's exactly what I'm going to replace today. Now it's time to carefully remove the inside of the battery so I can clean it and get it ready for the new powder. The black powder inside the battery is actually a mix of activated carbon and other electrochemical materials. Its main function is to conduct electricity and support the chemical reactions between the positive and negative terminals, which is how the battery generates power for electronic devices. The black powder inside a battery is typically a mix of activated carbon and specialized electrochemical materials manufactured for high conductivity and efficient chemical reactions. Once I completely remove the old material, it's time to carefully add in the powder I've made. Homemade charcoal powder, crushed charcoal mixed with salt, cannot fully match the performance of the original battery material. However, it can temporarily restore conductivity for small experiments or simple devices. Keep in mind that its durability and efficiency will be much lower than the original battery powder. The homemade powder is great for DIY projects, experiments, or temporary fixes, but cannot fully replace the quality and reliability of the factory-made battery materials. Now I'll grab a syringe and gently add a few drops of water right here to help activate the powder. I'm just using regular drinking water here. Nothing fancy. Simple, but it works. Alright, now it's time to carefully put the battery core back in place. Now that I put the battery core back in, I'll carefully put all the pieces back together, making sure everything fits snugly and lines up just right. please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to watch more interesting videos. Your support is our biggest motivation to make better videos. I'll close the battery tightly so there are no gaps left. Now, I'm going to use some heat shrink tubing to hold all the parts together and keep them firmly in place. Next, I'll use a lighter, or you can use a heat gun if available, to gently heat the tubing so it shrinks tightly and holds everything securely. And just like that, the battery is fully reassembled and ready for the real test. I prepared a 9-volt charger to give the battery a voltage boost. The charger I'm using is just 2 wires, one red and one black. I'll carefully press them against the positive and negative terminals of the battery to give it a quick voltage boost. It's a simple setup, but if done right, it might just bring the battery back to life. Now I'm going to check which end of the battery is the positive terminal and which one is the negative. It's important to get this right because reversing the polarity could damage the battery or the charger. I'm going to connect the black wire to the negative terminal of the battery and use some tape to hold it in place. Securing it like this will free up my hands and make the whole process much easier and safer to manage while I continue working. I'll use the red wire to gently tap against the positive terminal of the battery. I'll keep tapping little by little while carefully feeling the battery with my hand. The key is to stop when the battery starts to feel slightly warm. That's a good sign that I've given it just enough energy without overheating it. After giving the battery a few careful taps and feeling that slight warmth, I'll stop the charging process. Now it's time to check if the voltage has improved. I'll grab the multimeter and measure the battery again to see if there's any sign of life. If the voltage has gone up even just a little, that means the battery has responded and the revival is working. I've just checked the battery, and the multimeter now reads 1.5 volts. It's a great result. From 0 to 1.5 volts. It's like bringing something back from the dead. After inserting the restored battery into the alarm clock, I carefully close the battery compartment. A moment later, I can see the clock starts working again. This confirms that the battery is functional and the alarm clock is running properly. Although this is just a temporary solution, it proves that the DIY method can bring a dead battery back to life for simple devices like this. I tried putting them into the computer mouse, and it works perfectly too. No more lagging or sudden power loss. It's amazing how, with just a little effort, these seemingly dead batteries have been brought back to life. Great results. Do you like this idea? Thanks for watching the video. Goodbye and see you in the next video.